Presto changeo. Dr. Fellcrow's in the house. Chapter 1. Hit the ground running. I heard a knock on the door in the afternoon. "Who's that? OPD?" I howled. "Yes, sir," they answered. "Only cops knock like this." Whichever of the five was fit. He had a proper fist. "Can you come out and talk to us?" "Nope." "But we are already talking, right?" I write to write myself, then match it back to me. I thought to myself, this is how every barricaded armed standoff with the police begins. Auditory flashback to my beloved Clash City Rockers album. When the law break in, because they can. How you gonna come? With your hands on your head or on the trigger of your gun? I'm a godfather now. I have nephews to look after, mind you. "Fair enough," they said. "Your neighbors are concerned about you now that..." And I said, now that you're here, I'm concerned about me too. It was like the bridge between my mind and words was greased with golden, salt-ridden oil. Beautiful, I thought. I ain't down to die today anyway. My early interactions with the police ended in hilarious, terrible ways. One time I slammed my friend's door in their face, being the last one inside, and ended up handcuffed to her mom's dining room chair and lecturing them with my cuffed hands. They said, "We're going to charge Dr. Fellcrow with drunken public." I blasted back. First of all, pulling one finger straight from one fist with the opposing finger as the cuffs cut into my wrist through the slats. In said dining room sitting device, "This is my first pint of Guinness, and I'm in my friend's house, Wile E. Coyote." This was the second time that week my beloved big brother, 9 years my senior, and the great man that had recently adopted my orphan ass had been called to pick me up from the cops. The boys were laying low, man. Turned out they had a kegger all day, and these fools finally showed up at night when there was just a handful of us taking bong rips and discussing how we got in the jam earlier that week. Go figure. But we were a magnificent handful. We are a magnificent handful. I never would have gotten a fighting stance if that cop didn't fling the door open so violently. Charlie started barking at these uniformed intruders. Good boy, Charlie, I thought. Charlie will always have a big old piece of this full heart. He was a mixture of pointer and American bulldog. He'd have his head in my lap while Sunday was fixing my spikes or shaving the sides of my mohawk. He yelled, "Get that dog or I'm going to shoot him." I knew I could get to his gun before he'd get close to that. I felt my blood boil and the savage inside of me focus on his throat. If he kills my dog, it's war. Back then and even now, I didn't believe in authority. In those days, I had a real problem with it. I wasn't mad with 2 D's at the world. That's small potatoes. I was mad at God for taking my mama. Let yourself feel this pain, I just said to myself right now as I put pen to paper. I had a way with words. I have a way with words. I'll show you my way with words. I kind of dig cops now. "You like giving up?" "No," I said. "I gave up too many times," he said, as I slid him his coffee. "Don't give up," he said. "Never fucking give up." Mom said, "Don't ever take any shit from anybody." She knew I was very sensitive and I needed a father. He wasn't around, so she'd have to be both. That skewed my relationships with women for a long time. She never lost her cool. So when one of my ladies did, I didn't get it. Gravitational time dilation. Dilution most times is the solution. A proper timepiece. Who has my granddaddy's war watch, I wonder? My babies will have mine. How many humans want me dead just as of lately? Don't let me die by a coward's hand. Dad looked down at me with something important to say. He had a cool apartment for a time, and Northtown, Long Beach. He grabbed me by the shoulders and he looked at me in the eyes. His piercing, wild blue ones, as are my siblings. But I got mom's eyes. It's time to help her cross over fully 30 years after her life was ripped away from us. Stop saying, God damn it, little Johnny. Stop saying, fuck you, God, because you don't mean it. You've always been fascinated by this majestic, violent, eloquent design. So intricate, the darkness. I've owned the night since I knew I was a commando inside, but not yet out. How many different animals did this bobcat eat while it was alive? Many. I stare into the skull before me. I look up at my father, so excited that he's looking at me so intently through me and at me. Everything in his demeanor said, listen, I ain't going to be around. I belong to the streets. He said, if you can avoid it, never fight a redhead or a Samoan. The smallest Samoan I had seen at that time was a terrifying warrior of the Sons of Samoa. He wore red everything. His eyes were like stars slid into a black sky. His braids were thicker than my puny little arms. He smiled with my heart in his teeth. He looked only at me as we drove by. My mouth hung open. I felt strangely recognized. A kindred happy monster. Please, Nellie, don't stall. Nellie was the car of my childhood, my beloved mother's baby. A white 1965 Rambler Classic, two-door, brown interior, chrome knobs turning in my miniature fingers, push-button preset stations. A feat of engineering all to myself, so precious, a getaway from all the smiles I could not trust. I see right through you, Judas. How dare you, Judas? But he played his part. As Hitler did. It will never happen to the Jewish people again. Look how strong he made you. The true challenge of anyone's adversity is once we become strong, to never become a fucking bully.